Hello everybody, I'm SJM. Welcome back to Valhelsia 5. It's kind of starting to turn to night here, but thankfully I have secured myself a home. I actually went ahead and found a second hunter's house, illager hunters, and took over their area, so to speak. Let's grab up all the arrows. We don't need more bows at the moment, but arrows we can use most of the time. This is my second recording around, so as we can see in here, I've already made the novice spellbook. And let's just let's just pass that night by so we're not recording in the dark and getting attacked by mobs at the same time. But to make the spell book, I did have to go down and do a little bit of mining because I needed iron. So you just need one of each of the iron tools and the weapon, and that'll get you your novice spell book. I'm just going to also show upstairs in the hunter's blind, there's 2 chests here and 2 barrels, and it just basically had a bunch of food in it. So we got a bunch of cooked steak, a little bit of wheat. I picked up the chests, obviously, and got a little bit more storage there, and a little bit of iron. So I had to go mining for the more iron to get this spell book made. And then it took me a little while figuring out how to open the spell book to actually start making the spells, and that's because we have to go into our options and our controls and bind the keys because they start unbound. So most everything in ours starts unbound, so I just set up my open book to a key here. And although these buttons show as conflicts, I've gone and resolved them, so they don't actually have conflicts, so I don't know why they're still showing as red. But it is what it is. But yeah, they start unbound. But at any rate, once you open up your spell book, we do have a few things available to us immediately without having to get too much further into it. So we need a form and effects, and then there's also some modifiers that we can get later on as well. So with the form, you've got projectile, self, and touch, and this just dictates which kind of spell that you have. So whether that shoots out a projectile that happens further down, or whether it occurs on yourself, like say a healing spell or a buff spell, or a touch spell, which means you actually have to be right next to the subject of your spell. We get 2 effects to start off, which is break and harm. And obviously if we hold shift over these, we can get a little bit more information. Pretty straightforward stuff at this stage. Once you start getting new glyphs and putting together new spells, then this will be a little bit more handy to tell you what the effects have on these spells. So I made 2 spells to start, which is just touch and break, which gives us access to mining things without the need for tools. And the other really handy thing is that I don't think that this break spell has limitations. Like, you need a stone pick to be able to break a piece of iron ore. And then likewise, you need an iron pick to be able to break a piece of diamond ore, and so on and so forth. But I don't think this spellbook has that same limitations. I could be wrong, but from what I know of it, that's the way it works. So that's why I have this X petrified orbs, because I only had stone tools when I was down in my mine shaft mining, and in the original recording I went and showed that we could break the X petrified ores with this spell book. But I think technically, because the spell book required iron tools to start, maybe it's an iron level mining, and then we'd need some kind of one of these glyphs to enhance the effect of the break spell. Not 100% sure on it. I'm super sketchy on ours in itself, so that's kind of why I wanted to jump into it, is to fumble my way through it and on camera for your enjoyment as well. The next thing that we need to start looking to get into is getting new glyphs. So we'll need to get a scribe's table, and we'll need to start gathering some source. Source is a resource that's gathered through devices in the world, and you get to power the things in ours with source as well. So and it just will walk you through. If you just read through the book, it's pretty straightforward, but the initial way that we'll be getting source is through the agronomic source link, which works on growth ticks. So it'll tell you when trees and crops grow, and then it'll actually generate source from getting those things. But we do need to get source gems first, even before we can get into that. But it tells you how we can get source gems. So we'll need an imbuement chamber and some lapis, which I actually ran across while I was down in the mines. So I just need the gold, which I think I got a couple of pieces from. No, that was in my test world. So I'll have to be finding some gold out and about as well. Might as well eat up that pumpkin pie that I had found. So yeah, we'll have to do a little bit of exploring, going out and finding around. Oh yes, the other thing you probably noticed is I now have a waystone. It's because close by here there was a village up in this area here. There's a small little stone structure there which has a waystone in it to start. So that's the first place that you're going to go and find or collect up a waystone, and I gathered all the other mundane items from this village here. Later on, when I was looking at the map, I noticed there's another village up here which we can go up to, but we'll take care of that a little bit later on down the road. Did find when I went into this house here, and this is one of those ominous woods from before. Interesting thing I found in there was it's got wither roses in it. So if you need wither roses for some reason and you don't want to fight a wither, or you don't even have to fight a wither, but you don't want to summon a wither necessarily either to get wither roses, you can go to one of these areas and you should be able to find them pretty easily. So that's a nice little trick with this pack anyways. Got a nice big spruce tree over here which I can come and start cutting down, because that's why we did that. But we're on our break spell, and you can see it just uses up a little bit of our mana in the bottom left corner there. And once we run out of mana, then we have to kind of get some more. And in the book here it'll explain spell mana. So we can increase our spell mana by upgrading our spell book. Another way is getting mage armor, which will help us with our mana regeneration. And then there are potions such as mana boost potion or a mana regen potion, and enchantments we can also get on our gear. So if we find random enchanted books, it might have a mana regen enchantment on it, or gear as well. You know, you could just find it running around in the world. And so that's kind of the starting introduction for Ars Nouveau. We've also got, you know, a little bit of this stuff in here. Like I said before, source berries, we can get things, foods also. Right, forgot about the, we can make source berry rolls from wheat and source berries. Well, I've got that actually. So let's see how good that works. Let's just make that right away. Yes. A little bit of wheat, some source berries. A couple of those. Oh, and we can get purple dye from, yeah. I forgot, we also probably want to plant these down and start propagating them. Okay, they slow you down, but they don't hurt you. It's a little bit similar to the berry bushes, but not exactly the same, obviously. All right, back to chopping down this tree with our new source rolls. All out of mana now, so let's eat one of these guys. Oh yeah, that's a fair dece. Better, right? Forgot we need to stick another step on our stairway here. Oh no, I needed it here. That's where I needed it. I still can't reach the top of this tree. Well, let's try and see if we can't do. So spell slot 3, we're going to try a projectile break. Proj break. And then just make sure that you click on the create button here when you're creating your spell. And then we scroll through. So I was on break. Let's go to harm and then projectile break. Now we need to eat our roll. That makes taking down these big spruce trees quite a bit easier, I must say. I definitely approve of this. So yeah, Ars Nouveau. Getting started. Definitely some really handy things that we can do right off the hop out of it in this mod. So definitely glad that we got started into it early and get a little bit of that, you know, quality of life that's that we get with modded Minecraft. So I appreciate you all for checking out the episodes, and we will see you in the next one.